Hey guys, so if you are thinking about starting any kind of new educational program, there are three main phases that I would recommend thinking through and planning on walking through in roughly 1 year. Now, this is starting from zero. You're just sitting in your living room with an idea and a hope, and you haven't done research much at all. You aren't really maybe even sure exactly what your program is going to look like. You don't know where you're going to hold it to opening day. I recommend this about a year if you have a facility and you have a little momentum in any of these areas. You can do it in less than that. But you could start today and be open next fall. It is possible. So here are the three phases. The first phase is the preparation phase, and this is where you are making sure that you are ready and your market is ready. All right. Now, in this phase, you're going to be validating your market, as in you're going to be making sure that your community is able to sustain this program, wants this program, and is willing to pay for this program. And you're going to make sure that you know what your role is going to be, that you're ready, that you have the time and the energy, and you're able to actually get this rolling and you know what part you're going to play in it. Okay. The second phase is going to be the infrastructure phase. This is where you're building the infrastructure. And this is everything from finding an actual physical location to, and all that goes with that, arranging all of that. That's probably the longest part of it, to building infrastructure such as maybe a web presence, a way to collect information, figuring out on insurances, getting quotes on things, figuring out what forms you're going to use, how you're going to collect student information, how you're going to pay people, how you're going to have things signed. All of that, building that infrastructure is extremely helpful to do that ahead of time, so that once you have your students, you have your teachers, you know how to plug them in and how to keep everything rolling along. Okay. So the third phase is the launching phase, but this starts before opening day. This is hiring teachers, training teachers, and it is onboarding students, actually doing the admission of students, tuition setup, setting up payroll and all of that, which you've already researched the infrastructure for that in phase 2, but you're actually getting it rolling. It's also setting up classrooms and all of the other pieces that you need to open on your first day, like handbooks and safety policies and communication, getting everything open and going. So those are your three phases. It can be done in a year, like I said, or possibly less than a year. It is a good amount of work. You can plan on working 20 hours a week. Most weeks, probably, if you're working alone, for that year. And no, you may not be making any money in the beginning in this part because you don't have money coming in. But once you get going, if you built your budget right, you can then have your systems rolling along during your first year, and you can start making a part-time income, and then you can move forward into a fair wage after that. But that first year is going to be that entrepreneurial startup risk taking that happens in the first year when you're starting a new business. You are going to work through those three phases for pretty much any educational program. So I hope that is helpful and can be done. And let me know if I can help you out at all. Please check out the podcast that I have, Hybrid School Builders, on any podcast platform that you like. And those will also be feeding into YouTube, and you will get more information about each of those phases. But I wanted to just summarize it here. So I hope that is helpful for your planning.